Top of the morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're going to go ahead and see if we can't wrap this meal up and see where it gets us. So I'm going to pan you down here and we'll get started. Alright, we got our pieces painted. Now it's not the exact color of the meal, but it's close enough that because it's hid behind all this stuff here and the only thing you're going to see is the top part, the transition will work. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing together as much as we can without having to take it back apart once we get it on a meal. I went and drilled this hole right here in the wrong place, so I ended up having to drill another one that kind of messed up my paint a little bit, but it'll work. Oh, can't put that one in yet because this goes on there. Alright, so let's stick us a bolt in there and make sure that's lined up. Let's stick two of them in there. Alright, so now we can go ahead and tighten this one down. Alright, so now we can go ahead and put the bottom bracket on. Alright, so now we can take these back out and we'll go ahead and stick this on there just to make sure those are lined up. So we don't have to realign them once we get it up on there. Yeah, I think that'll work. Alright, so we'll put them back in there just to hold them in place so we don't lose them. Alright, now we're going to have to use a battery temporary on this just to, I'll just tape it on there until I get my, I got a battery box coming for this that has an on and off switch, and I'll show you that right here. I had two choices, and I'll show you the second choice right now. Alright, now we'll go over to the mill and go ahead and put this on, and I'll meet you there. Alright, so now we get to stick this on here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and mount our motor. So the first thing we're going to do, if you guys can see that, is let's see. Let's go ahead and hook the motor to the switch where it's supposed to go. Now, we don't want a whole lot of wire, so we're just going to cut that right about right there. Anything that's extra can be pinned up. So we're going to just cut that off right there. And then we're going to strip those. And we're going to put ends on it. Alright, so now we've got the motor hooked to the two center ones. Now we need to run the 24 volt from the converter. Alright, so now we've got our jumpers made, and we're going to put the red to positive, and we're going to take black, and we're probably going to put that right there. Alright, and then those will go over to the switch. Those will go here. And here. But before we do that, we need to make two jumper wires to go from here to the opposite, from here to opposite. So we'll make them up and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we've got our jumpers made. We're going to stick, I just made two little jumpers, just like so. And I got my black. And we'll go ahead and stick that to red. and that's what it should look like. The red comes in on this one, jumps over to the opposite. Black comes in here, jumps over to the opposite. So there's our jumpers, and now the power for the motor is pretty much done. So now we leave that alone, and now we're going to try to hook up our switch for power. Alright, so what I've done here is I've run the wire, the power coming in, to one side of the power switch. Alright, the next thing we need to do is these two here will go over there, so we're not worried about these right yet. Now we need to hook up the light over to this pole and a jumper to go from here over to the box. So we're going to make up a jumper which will be black, and then these two will go over to white. So we'll make that jumper up. Alright, so now that we've got our switch hooked up to the black, now we can go ahead and wire our two white ones together. Cut that a little shorter. And then hook this to that. And then wire nut those together. Alright, now this will go follow the black going around to the other side. Now we'll get us a green. And look at there, just long enough to do the job. Wiring up these two together. Alright, so now what I want to do, now we've got all our wires to go over to the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape around that, just so that in case I reach up and underneath there, I don't touch the wires. Don't want to be doing that. Alright, so now we'll take these, run them over to the other side. So now we've got the green that'll go here, we got the white that'll go here. So now we don't want a whole lot of wire here, so we're going to cut this down to where it just reaches. Alright, so now we'll bring these over. And these will come in underneath the black one, so it'll kind of help hold the black one up. Now that we've got that, now when I get my new box that I showed you, what I'll probably do is just mount that box right here somewhere. Yeah, that way I just have a little wire going from here to the battery. So Now we want to put tape on the back side of this. And we only need that tape right here. Now this will be the last thing goes on, but now we've got it set with tape on it. And then that will mount right there. You got your tape right there in line with the line or the wires. Alright, so that'll go on last. Now we need to run a wire, and this one here I'm going to take off because I've already got another one that's longer that I can hook a battery up to. Alright, so what I did, I ran this wire right here, which is your 9-volt, down to my jumper wire and over to my battery. Now this is only temporary. We're just doing this for test purposes. So now we're going to see if this thing works. So let's give it some power. And I can hear the fan running. Alright. Look at there. Let me bring you guys over here so that you can see. Works pretty good. So now the only thing I have to do is pin the wires up and tighten up this switch. I tightened this one, but I didn't tighten this one. But I got my light, indicator light, to let me know that it's on. Now all I gotta do is just turn it off. I have nothing. So now we'll just take and tighten this switch here up after I unplug it, because I'm not working up in there with electricity. And we don't want to be fried. You got plenty of space in between it. And I'm not real sure I like that bright green, as you can see the difference between the two. But until I can find some grizzly green, I looked online last night to see if I could find spray balm that was the same as this, and to be honest with you, I may just go ahead and repaint it a different color. In fact, it wouldn't hurt for me to just go ahead and paint it the same color as that, but that's down the road. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, now we've got our cover plate. Got tape on the inside of it, and now we'll go ahead and wire or pin that up. As soon as I find me some wire ties that's acceptable. So we'll just go underneath here, wrap that up around one of these other wires. And I'll take you off the tripod and give you the tour. Now I can make a plate to go around all this, but I'm not going to do that. I kind of like the way it looks. So let's plug it up. We got our switch. You can hear the fan. And we have a power head. I think that'll work just fine. Power off. Looks pretty good. So nice and neat. Got a fan here. Beauty plate. Pulley. By God. So there you have Bison's way of doing a power Z-axis for the head on the grizzly meal. And I'm not looking at the number. It's a g0758. Yep. I had to look. Oh my God. That's crazy. I cannot believe I can't never remember that number, and I've said it so many times. Anyway, I think it turned out pretty nice. Looks real good. And from what I can see, if I ever want to sell this meal and I don't want to sell the power head with it, of course I probably would sell the power head with it, because after all, that's exactly why we did it, so that we could get more money out of the meal. Because yes, eventually this meal's going to go, and I'll be getting a bigger meal. Now, that's not chiseled in stone. It may never happen. May happen next week. Who knows? They did send me a new box. This is the one that's not on the meal. The one that they sent me new, the second one, is the one I have on the meal. This one here, these contacts are really loose. You know, it moves around a lot, so I didn't want to put that on the meal. There's nothing wrong with it after I fixed everything and straightened it up. And they sent, like I said, they sent me a new one. And the beauty part about this is this company that I bought this from was pure pleasure to work with. Talked to a girl named Debbie, and I'll put a link to this box in the description. Well, down here. And you can't go wrong by buying from them. They stand by their product, and I'm not used to that on eBay. I'm used to people trying to screw me out of $1. But tell me what you think, guys, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this and got something out of it. The only thing I would have done different was make the skirt where I put the switch a little wider to kind of hide the box a little bit more. Other than that, I think it'll work just fine. So you guys keep on keeping on, and you guys have a good one. Later.